A missing pound of crystal methamphetamine with a street value of more than $2 million is believed to be what led two men to kidnapping and torturing a man for more than 10 hours. Convicted felons Mateo Blanco Sardoma Jr. and Rudy Paul Hernandez Sablan face a slew of criminal charges, including kidnapping, continuing criminal enterprise, aggravated assault, and felonious restraint. Both are being held behind bars on $500,000 cash bail each. Assistant Attorney General Nelson Werner.
The defendant faces 20 to life with a continuing criminal enterprise charge, as well as 10 to 25 for kidnapping.
Sablan was on pre-trial release at the time of the alleged kidnapping and torture, and prosecutors are concerned about the safety of the victim.
There's a high risk to the victim in this case, Your Honor. It's alleged that there were deadly weapons used, a gun, a taser, and handcuffs, and a knife, and that the victim suffered serious bodily injury to the point of torture, and they were threatened to killing him.
Court documents spell out the horrific story of a subcontractor who was installing cabinets at Sardoma's Dededo home on Monday when he was accused of stealing a pound of crystal meth. For more than 10 hours, the victim, an admitted drug user, detailed how Sablan, Sardoma, and another man who was not charged and was only identified in court documents as Chris, beat and tortured him in hopes to find the missing drugs. The victim told police he was punched, handcuffed, taken to a house on a ranch where he was gagged with his mouth taped shut and held at gunpoint while the men questioned him about the drugs. Repeatedly begging for his life, Sardoma allegedly shot at the man's wrist. It was a blank, but he threatened the next shot would be real. The victim's teeth were knocked out and he was tasered multiple times in the wrist while held at knife point. Sardoma allegedly said he would cut the man's hand off. Scared that he would be killed, the victim told the men that the missing ice was at his girlfriend's house in the car, so the handcuffs were removed. When they arrived, though, the victim fled into the jungle where he stayed hiding and for more than 9 hours as he saw people searching for him. He managed to contact police for help. Sardoma and Sablan were arrested on Wednesday, but Sardoma's attorney Curtis Van de Velde sought a continuance of today's magistrate hearing until he receives documents from the prosecution. Werner, however, asked that Sardoma remain behind bars for the safety of the victim.
The victim is at high risk. The government cannot protect the victim at this point. We have serious concerns about the safety of the victim as well as the community and witnesses. And also, this individual has an extensive criminal history.
Sardoma was busted a few months ago, caught carrying ice on a flight from Manila to Guam. A search warrant of his Dededo home on Wednesday yielded the gun and handcuffs allegedly used in the kidnapping, as well as several $1,000s in cash, surveillance equipment, liquid methamphetamine, and drug paraphernalia. Sablan, meanwhile, also has a history of drug charges. His Dededo home was raided by authorities earlier this year, where agents seized more than a dozen firearms, some with serial numbers that had been scratched off, more than 300 pounds of ammunition, marijuana plants, surveillance equipment, drug paraphernalia, and more than $1,000 in cash. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Nick Delgado.